Oh, she did in good faith. All right, thank you very much. All right, finally, at least 11 people were killed and 31 huts burnt to ashes in Gululu village, Jahun and Miga local government areas of Jigawa state during a clash between the Hausa and the Fulani communities. According to report, the conflict escalated into a deadly ethnic feud, began after a petty dispute over stolen goods. Now, the Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, waded in by offering temporary relief items like food and money to the victims. Of course, I still have Justice General right here with me. Justice, this is obviously, how do I say it now? In the grand scheme of things, it was more like a fragile conflict waiting to explode. Now, how do you assess this whole situation? Because it's been a while we heard something ethnic. We've been dealing with quite a number of terrorism issues, but this is another fresh ethnic issue breaking out. Okay, for me, I think it is very, very unfortunate that in this century we should still be talking about these kind of clashes. Right. But having said that, as much as possible, we should also not incite the factions. We shouldn't say these people are right, these people are not right. Right. The powers that be in that neck of the woods should do everything they can to take care of every warring faction, anything they want, just give them, because we cannot add ethnic crisis to what we have now. To what we already have. Ibrahim Garba, very quickly, let me take you up on this. Now, do you think the historical grievances or past incidents could be playing a major role with this recent escalation in the ethnic clashes in Jigawa? Mr. Garba, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, honestly. I can't hear you.
Okay, now I asked...
The audio is lost.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Fantastic. Now, do you think the historical grievances, like I said earlier on, of the past incidents could be playing a major role with this recent escalation in the ethnic clashes in Jigawa?
Although I couldn't hear you clearly, but, from the last comment you made, the Jigawa issue is more or less concerned with, has to do with these ethnic clashes between the Hausa and the Fulani, like what happened in Jahun and Miga local government area of Jigawa state. Right. That axis has been, prone to some clashes, on a periodic basis. And this is just an example of what to expect if we don't, lay down our mark in, resolving clashes between these two rural communities. And that is why it spread to areas like Sokoto, Zamfara, and all that. People tend to underestimate, the supremacy battle, between the Hausa and the Fulani communities. Right. It has been ongoing for some time now, but of recent is beginning to, rear its head because it's not properly being managed. And, due to this supremacy battle, the traditional, Fulani man is a nomad, and he wouldn't want to play with his livestock. And the Hausa member orientation is a trader and all that. So if if you have to coexist, there should be that understanding on both sides so that there could be peace. But again, beyond that, I want the federal government to step in a way to resolve this conflict, because even those within the community, they find it very difficult, to live together as one family. But again, if there's a policy in place for everybody to know his or her boundaries, we can minimize these clashes, because actually the truth of the matter is, there's this supremacy battle between the Hausa and the Fulani, and it has been ongoing. And the earlier we begin to look at these issues, the better for all. Okay, otherwise, Ibrahim, this thing will continue to rear its heads.
Oh, Ibrahim, before I move to justice right now, you made mention of something. You said these clashes have been going on and it's not been properly managed. Should we blame the Northern Governors Forum for this, this situation? Because do you think they are not doing enough to sort of create, an enabling environment for these two, ethnicities to thrive? Do you think something has to be done on the part of the Northern Governors Forum for them to actually step up their own part of, their own deal to make sure things go smoothly in that part of the world? Okay, I think. Can you hear me? I think we're still dealing with the issue. Justice, you heard the question when I said.
I heard the question.
I mean, the Northern Governors Forum. I want to believe they should be able to mediate.
Okay, if you leave me to my own whims, I will say that they are not doing enough. Just like Oliver Twist. I'm not saying they are not doing anything, whatever it is that they are doing, despite all these, if we attribute anything to them as the things that they are doing, and we are still having these clashes, I will still ask for more from them. Even though I can't exactly blame them because it's an inherited problem and it may linger for a while. It is just the extent of it that they have to do everything they can to manage. I'm happy that the president has created a ministry for agriculture. At least those ones will have a direct...
Ministry for Livestock, right?
Ministry for, thank you very much. Yeah. Ministry for Livestock. Yeah. So those ones, they will do everything they can. At least they are a specialized ministry tailored to manage this kind of conflicts that can break out. So I expect that there's going to be an improvement going forward in this regard. All
right, Garba, quickly, I understand that we've reestablished connections. Now, reprisal attacks are often feared after moments like this. Has there been any existing policies in Nigeria aimed at promoting ethnic harmony, and how well are they being implemented in this case?
No, like I mentioned earlier, is beyond this our way of thinking. These are communities that have been living together for quite some time now, but in terms of federal presence, that has been lacking over the years. And that is why, when these numbers move from point A to point B without, being checked, definitely there's going to be a problem along the way. Like what happened recently in Jigawa State, it's no other thing but land disputes. You encroach my land, I encroach yours, and it resulted to something else which led to burning down of properties like that. So, but at the local level, the traditional rulers have a very pragmatic role to play. Then the judiciary system, if we want to manage this thing effectively, I think we should be very impartial, unbiased, administration of justice at this level. I think that's the little I can say here about that.
All right, thank you very much. Ibrahim Garba, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you. Hopefully we get to see you next time. Thank you. And of course, Justice General, appreciate you, and it's always a pleasure having you here. Happy New Year once again.
Yes, to you.
And that's our show for today. Remember, you can follow the conversation on our social media platforms at TVC News NG or on our website at tvcnews.tv. I am Marco Tabo. Until next week, goodbye.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas.